Okay, so this quote is relevant. So when it says there's no rhyme or reason in what happens, nor any justice, the universe we observe has precisely the properties we should expect if there is, at bottom, no design, no purpose, no evil, no good, nothing but pitiless indifference. Do you agree with Dawkins here where he says there's no purpose, no evil, no good in anything, just pitiless indifference?
No.
Okay, so
Not
where
a
do you
fan
get
of
good
Richard
in
Dawkins.
where do you get your good and evil from in your atheist world?
Well, I believe that morality is normative.
What does that mean?
So something is normative if it is an evaluative standard which prescribes oughts.
Yeah, I don't. You see, what you're doing is you're speaking in philosophy speak. Explain it so that everyone in the room and a sixth grader could understand.
All right, I'm going to need to use an example to do that, so hopefully I can. Racing is said to be normative. If you desire to win, you ought run fast. So the standard, winning, would prescribe an ought, running fast. So we would say that racing is normative.
Okay, so then value statements are simply social constructs.
Generally speaking, yes, in my worldview.
Is okay, so there's so there's nothing objective about it then.
In my worldview, no.
Okay, so when you whine and complain about how things are and want to change it, all you're just spewing is what you like versus what you don't like, right?
Not necessarily. It depends on what particular
Good.
ethical view one takes.
Then what value judgment has an objective grounding that is not simply and only a social construct?
I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
Oh, so you don't know that they're anything more than a social construct?
Are you speaking about specifically morals?
Okay. So when you moralize, are you just invoking social constructs?
Generally speaking, though there are exemptions from that.
Okay.
Exceptions,
Is there any value judgment about human conduct that you can ground objectively?
I would say no.
Okay, so when you make value judgments that are obvious, sometimes not so obvious, then they're all just subjective and social constructs from your point of view?
Yes.
So then why do you make it sound like they're objective when they're not?
I don't. I make them sound like they're standards, and they are.
A standard would just simply be what is socially fashionable in a given population.
In certain senses, yes. I don't think that would necessarily apply to the sense in which I'm using the term.
In which sense would you have any value judgments that are objectively grounded?
Well, that I think is shifting the question a little bit.
No, I'd like an answer to the question. Do you need me to repeat the question?
Well, because I already told you that I don't.
You're being evasive.
There are any that are objective.
So there are.
I've already answered.
So then either your value statements collectively, they're either none of them are objective or some of them are. So which is it?
I'm sorry. Can you repeat that one more time?
All of the value statements that you make on a regular basis, either they are all objectively grounded, or some of them are, or none of them are. So which is it?
I personally would say that none of them are, but I am open to arguments that at least some of them are.
Okay, so when you vigorously argue for stuff, you're just arguing for your own personal evolved tastes. Is that right?
Me? No, not necessarily.
Then if it wasn't your personal preference, then would it be objectively grounded then?
If it was not my personal preference, would it be objectively grounded? No, not necessarily.
Okay, then if it's not, what value do you advocate that is not your personal preference? Okay, what would that be?
That rape is something that we ought not do.
Why ought we not to do that objectively?
Because humans have collectively decided that it's not conducive to
all you're just saying it, you're replacing that with a different value. Then you're replacing that with another social construct that we ought to conform to a given plurality.
I don't think that's really what the word ought means here in this case.
Oh, okay. Ought we conform to the plurality or morality of a given population, society?
It would depend. One that lives in that society would most
Is
likely
rape
say
being
yes.
wrong a
One that
social
doesn't would
construct?
most likely say
Is
no.
rape being wrong a social construct?
I would say yes, but I'm open to arguments that it may be objective.
Okay, so in other words, when you say rape is wrong, you're just advocating a social construct that is not objectively grounded.
One more time, I'm sorry.
When you advocate that rape is wrong, you're just appealing to a social construct.
In my view, yes.
Okay, so there's nothing objectively wrong about it. It's only wrong because it deviates from a social construct.
We can just make a new social construct.
So in other words, what about if a new society arises in a period of time where they have a different social construct where rape wasn't wrong? Excuse me, wasn't wrong, where the plurality or morality, the plurality or majority in that society says rape is okay. Would then rape be okay then?
Well, within the framework of that society, yes, it would be okay, but that doesn't mean that
okay.
everybody outside of that society is thereby obligated or has some imperative to follow
Okay,
those
why
standards.
would we be obligated to do anything?
Why would we be obligated to do anything? Because we feel that we are.
Oh, so it's completely subjective?
Obligations, I would argue, yes.
Oh, okay. So basically, your entire moralistic scheme, when you argue for various value states, it's entirely subjective on an ultimate analysis then.
Generally speaking, yes.
Yeah, okay. Now, I was listening to one of your podcasts about your view on atheism. Can you tell me how there is no ultimate creator God, where God is defined as what is ultimate, fundamental, a mind, and the source of all possibility?
Because it's not necessary to explain the reality in which we reside and our place within it.
And how do you know that? Do you know what is fundamentally ultimate as the source of possibility that is the necessary basis of temporal states?
Do I know that? I don't think I could say that I know that, but I would say that I do believe.
Then how do you know that God is not necessary?
Because it hasn't been necessary in any aspect of understanding how our fundamental reality mechanistically operates.
Yeah, that's just a bunch of gobbledygook what you just said there. I mean, that was
it's
really
my honest
pathetic.
answer.
No,
It's
it
my
was
honest
just a bunch
answer,
of
though, so-
No, okay. Well, you can think it's honest. It's just that your last statement was gobbledygook. Now, you said God is not necessary. Okay, yeah, well, I'll get to that in a moment.
Hope so.
You're stating that God is not necessary. Okay, so what is ultimate and fundamental, the source of all possibility? Then, if it's not necessary, then it does not exist. How did you determine as to what is ultimate and fundamental, and that it is not God?
Well, I think it's reality because we know that reality is there and we can measure it. We've never measured it.
Do you know that?
Do I know that reality is there? Yes.
Okay. No, I did. Yeah, you got to focus on what my questions are, not a question that you'd like to answer. All right. Now,
Sure.
reality the abstract set of all real particulars?
Is reality the I don't think reality is abstract.
No, I said is reality the abstract set of concrete particulars?
Yeah, well, I don't think that reality is abstract, so no.
No, you're not understanding. I didn't say that, okay? A set is an abstraction about a group of particulars. Now, what is it that unifies all the particulars in the set that you call reality? What unifies it? Is the unification concrete or is it abstract?
Are you asking me what unifies all particulars into a one thing I can call the universe?
When you think that reality is ultimate and not God, first of all, how do you even know that?
I don't know it. I believe it.
Okay. And do you believe it with reason or no reason?
I would argue with reason.
Okay. What is your reason that what is fundamental is an array of unconnected, unrelated particulars?
I I don't really know what exactly you're asking me. Could you please
Okay.
clarify?
Is reality a set of particulars?
I suppose in some senses, yes.
Either all I want is a yes or no.
Well,
Because
in some senses,
I don't want you to give me
yes.
I don't want you to give me slippery answers that you can slither out later. Is reality the set of a plurality of concrete particulars?
In some senses, yes.
Okay, you're doing it again. I want to know, is reality a group or a set of real and concrete particulars?
In some senses, yes. I mean, how
Okay,
many times
that's
do
the
you want me
third.
to
Okay,
answer the
that's the
question?
third time. You see, I've already asked the question 2 more times because that answer that you gave was unsatisfactory. Now,
Well,
why
that's
did you
too
think?
bad.
Please do not overtalk me. Okay. Now, why did you think that repeating it 2 more times that I would be satisfied with that?
Well, I'm not answering as it relates to your satisfaction. I'm answering as to what I genuinely
Okay.
believe. I'm answering in
Okay.
terms of my honesty, not in terms
Well,
of what's
that answer
satisfying
is not
you.
satisfactory.
You're the
Well,
one who
too
said that
bad.
reality
Okay.
is what's
Okay.
ultimate. So what's
No,
reality?
what I want to know is, okay, are all the particulars that are in the set of reality, are those particulars concrete and real?
Are those particulars concrete and real?
Or are they just
I
simply a
would.
mental abstraction?
Well, are we? I'm assuming you're speaking of specifically concrete objects, or are you speaking of abstract
Okay, I
objects as
want to
well?
know. This is no. I'm not talking about abstract objects. Okay,
So you were
I'm
talking about
talking about
concretes.
I'm talking about concrete as opposed to an abstraction. Okay,
Okay.
so you said reality is a set of particulars. Okay, so those particulars are either
I don't recall saying that.
concrete. No, that's how we're defining it, so we can get some clarity on the issue. Now,
Sure.
so you believe that reality is ultimate. Well, does reality only contain states that are primary, or does it contain secondary states?
Can you tell me what you mean by primary and secondary states?
Yeah, the Eiffel Tower would be a secondary state.
So then what would be a primary state?
Let's say the protons, neutrons, and electrons that make it up.
Okay. That does beg another question. Would you mind me asking?
Yeah, I do. I just want to get resolve this point here is your view about the nature of reality, so we can get back to the discussion on atheism. Okay, so you believe that there's a plurality of concrete particulars, right?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Is there anything that concretely unifies them?
It's hard to say. I'd have to think about it.
So you don't know?
At least at the given instant, no.
Okay. So then these particulars in the set that you call reality are concretely unconnected and unrelated as far as you know.
It could be the case. It might not.
Okay.
I mean,
So how do you know that all of the particulars out there are ultimate and self-existent and each individually eternal?
I don't think that reality is eternal.
No. Okay. So do you believe that something came from absolutely nothing?
No.
Okay. So then something would either have to be non-temporal, meaning it would be eternal, or it began to exist. So do you believe that reality is eternal, or did reality begin to exist?
I would say neither. Reality just is.
Okay, then if it just is, did it pop into existence out of nothing?
I don't know what that even means.
Okay, so reality then is as far as you're concerned, reality is simply a brute fact that has no ultimate reason why it exists.
Exactly. Yes. Reality is nomological.
Okay, now you've contradicted yourself.
Where?
Okay, because you told me that reality was ultimate and it negates God as being ultimate. But then when you just told me
I didn't
that
say that.
reality, yes, you did.
No,
I
I didn't.
asked you,
Would
what
you
is
like
it?
me to
Okay,
clarify?
let's go back over what you said again. Okay, I asked you, how did you know that God does not exist, and God being defined as what is ultimate and the source of all possibility. And you told me that God does not exist because reality was ultimate. Do you
That's
recall
not what I
saying
said.
that?
No,
That
that's
is
not what I
exactly what
said.
you said.
No, it's not.
Okay, then we'll go back to square one.
Am I
again,
going to be
since-
allowed to clarify what I said since I'm
Okay,
the one that
okay.
said it?
How is it? Okay, what is it then that is ultimate that would replace God as the source of all possibility?
In my worldview, that would be reality, but that's not to say
Okay,
that it
now,
means
okay,
necessarily that
no,
it can't be God.
if reality, okay, but you just said a minute ago that reality was not ultimate. You said it was a brute fact.
I would argue that means it's ultimate.
No. A brute fact is something that is posited to exist without any ultimate reason why it exists. So you need to make up your mind as to what you're going to believe.
When you say reason why, are you construing that in terms of intentions or just something that's
No, there's
impersonal yet still explicative?
There's no identifiable reason whatsoever why X exists. Now, if reality is ultimate, then it will be self-contained and unconditionally non-dependent and absolute. Now,
I would agree. I would argue that it is all of those.
Okay, then it's not a brute fact then.
Well,
Okay.
I would argue that it being a brute or it being those things makes it nomological.
Okay, so all of the plurality of particulars, which are independent of each other, they just have always existed. They never began to exist. So then, by definition, that's what we call eternal.
I wouldn't use the word eternal. I'd use the word tenseless.
Okay.
How did you
Well,
determine that,
then you're quibbling about phraseology. Okay, so the word eternal simply means that something exists, and it exists without a beginning. Now, so then you do believe, in fact, even though you don't particularly like the word, but it does accurately represent your position, that there's an array of particulars that is foundational to any other temporal states that are eternal. That is your view, right?
That there is an array of particulars that is foundational to any temporal state?
Yeah, that's what it means to be ultimate. It means it's foundational to any other states that are not ultimate. So you believe that there is a plurality of eternal particulars, right?
I don't know if that's the right way to word it.
Okay, did these particulars begin to exist?
Begin to exist? No.
Okay, so then they would be eternal then.
I mean, the way that you're construing that term, yes.
Okay, how did you determine that there's a multiplicity or a plurality of eternal, unconnected, unrelated particulars?
Because it seems to be the case.
Okay, so the fact there are lots of things that seem to be the case, but it's not. So you don't actually know. So you don't actually know that
No,
there's
I
an
don't.
array.
I said that.
Oh, okay.
I said I
So
believe it, but I don't know it.
Okay, good. Now, what is your reason? What is your reason to believe that it is the case that there are an array of eternal particulars that nullify God?
I don't think that it necessarily nullifies God. I just think that God is fundamentally
No, you've now
superfluous.
contradicted yourself. You've now
Where?
contradicted yourself.
Where?
Because I asked you, you said God is not necessary. So I ask you then, since God, you do not consider that God is what is ultimate, the source of all possibility. You said God is not necessary. And therefore, what is necessary is reality, which is a plurality of eternal particulars. So if an array of eternal particulars are eternal, then and they're ultimate, there can only be one ultimate. Okay. So how did you determine, or what rationale, what reason do you assert that it is the case that there is an array of or a plurality of eternal particulars that falsifies God?
Well,
So
see,
you
that's
can
the
say
problem.
God's not
I don't
necessary.
think that it falsifies God. It just makes God
Yeah,
unnecessary.
Well, then what if it makes God, if God's not necessary, then he doesn't exist, because by definition
That's your worldview. I would not be willing to grant that.
No, sir. I already gave you the definition of God
You
earlier in the
didn't.
conversation. I actually did do it. Either
Well, if
you
you
weren't
did so, you
listening.
did it
Don't
offhandedly.
overtalk me. Don't overtalk me. Now, I actually did spell that out and define it in the very beginning. I started off by defining God very clearly. Now, either you conveniently forgot, okay, or you have a poor memory, which I doubt you have a poor memory. Now,
That was
God.
tautological.
I defined God in the conversation in the beginning that God was ultimate, absolute, unconditionally non-dependent, and the source of all possibility in temporal states. Okay, you made no objection whatsoever to that definition. Do you recall?
Yes, but I don't think that definition means that God
You
can't
made no
exist.
objection, did you?
Sir, please don't overtalk me. It's very rude. I agree.
Well, I didn't get an answer to my question.
I agreed with the definition that you gave, but nothing about your definition necessitates that if it's not the case that God holds those qualities, that he must not exist. Would you like to now qualify your statement that if God does
listen
not
to me
hold
carefully. What you I love that gobbledygook that you just gave me. Now listen carefully. If God by definition that I gave you early on was that God is ultimate. Therefore, if God is ultimate, he necessarily exists and is the necessary source of all possibility by definition, which I gave early on. Now, if you believe that God does not exist, you said God is not necessary because of reality, which to you was a plurality of eternal particulars. So that if God is not necessary, then he cannot logically coexist with those particulars, because God is defined as what is being ultimate and the source of all possibility. But when you say that a plurality of eternal particulars are the source of all possibility, then God cannot logically coexist in that world. Do you realize that?
Yes. The way that you've construed God, I agree. And I apologize if I misrepresented you from earlier on in our discussion, and I hope it doesn't.
Good. So what is your reason other than saying it seems to be that way? Because that sounds to me like ignorant conjecture. Is it ignorant conjecture?
I would argue no.
Good. Then what is your reason that there's a plurality of fundamental particulars that are non-concretely unified and that they're ultimate? What's your reason for that?
The fact that we've never observed anything more fundamental than reality.
That was, you know what? That was really pathetic. Okay. When you say reality, do you observe all fundamental particulars? What you just did
Hold on.
Was
what do you mean by fundamental particulars?
Hold on a sec.
Like
hold on a sec.
elementary particles?
You know what? You are a big boulder dasher in my opinion. Okay, listen to me carefully. Have you observed reality?
Yes.
Okay. Is reality the set of all fundamental particulars?
The way that you're construing it seems to be yes.
Okay. Have you individually observed every single individual fundamental particular?
It's a hard question to answer. I don't know what you mean.
No, it's a legit. You know what? Now you're being deceitful. Don't overtalk me. Now you're being deceitful and disingenuous because you're a motor mouth. Listen very carefully. Did you say to us that you have seen reality?
Yes, I did.
Is reality the entirety of fundamental eternal particulars?
The way that you're construing it, yes, though that's not the way that I would
No. Listen, you are one effing deceitful young man, okay? I've been doing this for 10 years. No, I'm not mad. I'm being assertive right now. But what I find surprising here is you are one deceitful person, because you were the one who stated that reality was a plurality of eternal particulars. Did you not affirm that?
Actually, no. I made a statement and then you construed it that way.
Listen to me. My patience is running out with your deception. Now, other people in the room heard you say it. I heard you say it. And now you're being deceitful. I can't imagine that you have such a poor memory. I asked you what reality was. And I said, don't overtalk me. I asked you what reality was. I asked you, is reality the plurality of fundamental concrete particulars? And you said yes. Right? Is that what reality is to you?
The way that you're construing it, I'm willing to
No, is that what reality is to you?
Well, that depends. Are you going to let me actually?
Okay, is that no? I'm repeating the question because you're dodging it.
You wanted me to answer, but then you keep interrupting me when
No,
I try to.
you're being deceptive. Listen, I'll ask the question a third time.
Go ahead.
Okay?
Are you going to interrupt me a third time when I answer it?
I have to give you credit for being skilled at being deceptive in a dialogue. Okay, you are skilled in being a devious little deceptive little weasel.
Okay.
Yeah, you are. You are a devious little deceptive weasel.
It's
And I'm going
obvious
to
to
call you
everyone in
out
the
for
room.
it. Now, it's obvious. Now, listen carefully. Does reality, as from your perspective, and I'm only repeating what you affirmed several times earlier, is reality the sum total plurality of fundamental concrete particulars?
I'm willing to grant that, yes.
No, I didn't ask you to grant it. I said, is that your view of what reality is?
Darth, bro, why are you getting so angry?
He's asking you a view,
I'm getting irritated because you're being a slimy little deceptive scumbag. Now, this is about the 6th time I've asked the question. That's why I'm getting irritated with you, because you're being deceitful.
No, I'm not. I'm answering the question.
Now,
you just don't like my answer.
Okay, I asked you earlier. No, it has nothing. You see, that's another little catchphrase that atheists pull out of their tote bag. It has nothing to do with I don't like the answer. The answer is you're being deceitful. Now, is reality from your point of view, okay, what I think is irrelevant at this moment, is reality the set of all concrete fundamental particulars?
I'm willing to grant that, yes.
Okay, that's the 4th time you've done that. Now, I didn't ask you to grant it. I said, do you believe that?
Dude,
for the sake of this discussion.
Listen to me. Have you listened to a number of my debates before?
Quite a few, my friend.
Okay, now, what is the #1 marker when I get upset? The answer to that question is when my interlocutor is being deceitful and deceptive.
Want me to answer that question?
No, it was a rhetorical question. Now, listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully, you little slimy little lying piece of garbage. Listen carefully to me, okay? You see, because you're in a forum where you're not going to get away with it like you could on some atheist talking head show. Where you
get away with what?
Yeah, get away with it. Well, what you're trying to get away with here. Now, listen carefully.
What?
Do you believe that reality equals the total plurality of fundamental or foundational concrete particulars?
Yeah, I'm willing to grant that.
What a scumbag.
I don't think
okay, hey, listen, scumbag. Hey, listen, you little scumbag. Hey, listen, I'm going to mute your ass for a second. Listen, you little scumbag. That's the 4th or 5th time you said I'm willing to grant that. I asked you an adult question. Are you an adult?
I gave you an adult answer.
I said, no, you did not.
Wait, an honest answer isn't how
listen
an adult
to me,
responds?
Leo. Leo, listen to me. I asked you, do you believe this? I didn't ask you, are you willing to grant it? I said, do you believe that?
Yeah, for the sake of the discussion, I do.
No, no. You know what? Answer me a slimy way again. I'm going to ban your freaking ass from this server because you are a deceitful little scumbag. Now, listen to me carefully. Do you believe that reality equals the totality of all foundational or fundamental particulars? Do you believe that?
He's too scared to answer that.
Well, no, it's that Darth won't let me, because if I ask him for clarification, he's already talking over me, even though he doesn't want me to overtalk him. I'm making
a point of moderation. Parakeet, please do not dogpile. Do you believe that?
It's hard for me to answer his question because there's some things that I would have to clarify that honestly I don't think Darth is charitable enough to clarify.
Leo, you are being deceitful again.
Yeah.
You are a deceitful young man. I have asked you a straightforward question. I will ask it again for the multiple time.
You know what? Yes. To your question, let me just yes, I do. Yes.
Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, how did you determine that what is fundamental and foundational to all possibility is an array of fundamental particulars? How did you come to know this?
because what we call impossible depends on the states of affairs of those particulars.
That was gobbledygook what you just said. I want to know, how have you observed? You told me you observed reality before, right?
Yes.
Okay. Now, reality is the sum total of all fundamental particulars. Have you observed each and every fundamental particular?
In some sense, yes.
No. No, you have not.
Wait, will you let me
Are you,
clarify?
wait a minute, are you high right now?
No, will you let me clarify?
Okay. Have you seen
Darth,
with your eyes?
do you
Have
actually
you
want to
seen
understand
with your
my position?
eyes? Have you seen with your eyes? Have you seen even one of what is the fundamental particular?
Like, okay, Darth, I understand why you're getting upset, but
Okay, I will ask the
see,
question again when you
won't
dodge
even
it.
let me finish.
Okay,
You
I'm
won't
gonna
even
I'm
let
gonna
me
mute
finish.
you.
I
I'm gonna
would
mute
love
you.
to answer your
Darth,
question, but
Okay,
you
no, listen
Darth?
listen to me carefully. Don't interrupt me. Hey, Leo, when I ask you a question, I want an answer to the question. I don't want a dodge response. Have you seen even one of what is the most fundamental particulars of existence?
you won't let me answer. Because when I've tried to, you just interrupt me. Do you
You're
want
doing
an
it
answer?
again. I want you to
Do you want an
answer
answer?
the question.
Okay, so then stop interrupting me. There are different senses that we could talk about what you're mentioning. If you meant
All right, I'm gonna server mute you. You are a deceitful young man. Okay. Now, I will repeat the question again. Have you seen with your eyes even one of that which is fundamental, a particular, and that it is eternal? Have you seen that any one particular?
are you asking me?
Yes.
Well, it's just strange because you've thus far not let me actually answer the question. So if you're willing to actually
Again, I've asked the
let me
question
answer,
3 times. Okay.
yeah,
Here
you
we go.
keep
Here we
asking
go.
me.
Here we go again. Listen, I've seen these tricks all before, Leo. You are a deceptive atheist, just like all they are. Double talking, BSing, boulder dashing. Now, I will ask the question again, and then I will unmute you, and then you are free to answer the question. I don't want to hear any other commentary about anything else. Have you seen with your eyes any fundamental concrete particular that is foundational and that it is eternal? Have you seen any one of those?
So by fundamental particular, do you mean like the elementary aspects of reality or all of the things that they make?
I await an answer to my question that I've made abundantly clear.
I can't answer your question in any honest manner unless I receive
Okay, you are a
clarification of
liar.
what it is you're asking.
You are a liar.
I'm a liar for asking
You
for
are a
clarification
liar
as to
and
what
you are a
mean.
deceiver. I'm calling you out as a lying little
Sure.
scumbag.
Yeah,
Have
that's
you
cool.
seen any particular that is fundamental, that's absolute, that is eternal? It exists by itself. It did not begin to exist. Have you seen with your eyes even one of the most foundational fundamental particulars, and that is eternal? Have you seen that?
With specifically my eyes, no, but I know that it
Okay.
exists to degrees
Okay,
of
now
certainty larger than that
you
that I
told
can get with
me
my eyes.
you told me you haven't seen any one fundamental particulars.
Wait, yes, I have.
What fundamental particular that is eternal that you have seen? Have you been around? Have you been around for eternity?
Quantum fields, as far as we know, are
No.
tensors.
Hey, listen, Leo. Listen. Just between you and me, if you think bullshitting me is going to work, it's not going to work. Now, have you seen any entity at a foundational level that's eternal? And how did you know it was eternal, Leo? Have you
really
been
think-
observing it for eternity?
You really think I would bullshit you, Darth? Come on, I wouldn't do that.
Okay, Leo, you're doing it right now with that answer.
Anyway, to answer your question, have I watched something?
Have you
exist
been around
an
for eternity observing
No.
all particulars?
Jesus, he really won't let me answer the question. Have I seen
Leo,
something?
Leo,
See?
I've just
There we-
about
there
had
we go.
enough of you.
There we go.
Hey, listen, don't be a smartass with me. The
I'm not.
reason
I'm
why,
trying to answer your question, and you won't
maybe if
let
you
me.
weren't such a scumbag,
Weird.
maybe if you weren't such a scumbag, you would understand that I'm getting angry and irritated with you because you're being deceptive.
No, you just won't let me
Yes,
answer
you
the
are.
questions
No, that's a
you're asking
lie,
me.
Leo.
You're making
Leo,
yourself angry.
Have you been around for eternity and observed each and every particular that you claim is eternal?
I don't need to infer that things are eternal.
No, have you no, I didn't ask you if you inferred it. Have you seen it? Have you been around for eternity?
What? So then, why is that relevant?
So in other
you're
words,
not asking me if I've inferred it.
So you have not seen that which is fundamental and eternal. Is that correct?
What do you mean by seen?
With your eyes.
Like, oh, so like anything that I haven't seen with my eyes doesn't count?
Okay. Leo, have you seen it with your eyes?
Jesus, I don't know how. This is like a brick wall. So you are saying that literally, if I haven't seen it with my eyes, it doesn't count, correct?
Leo, have you seen it with your eyes?
I mean, we can just keep going in circles, but I can't answer
Leo,
your question
have you
until
seen
you
it with your
clarify.
eyes?
I feel like you really don't like clarification.
Leo, have you seen it with your eyes?
Do you mean it? I don't know if you're being hyperbolic when you say that.
No, I'm being literal. Have you seen what your eyes, that which is in actuality eternal?
With my eyes, no. Do I know it exists, though? Yes.
Okay. Now, since you haven't seen that which is a plurality of particulars and eternal, excuse me, then how do you know that this plurality of particulars are actually fundamental, and how do you know they're eternal?
We know that quantum fields are fundamental.
No, stop
they
right
can't
there.
be broken
Don't
into
say
anything
we.
further.
Don't say we.
We know that
Don't
they're
say we. Stop saying.
didn't-
Listen to me carefully. I don't want to hear any we.
Well, I just answered
How
your
do
question,
you know?
so I hope you heard
How
it.
do you know? Appealing to quantum mechanics isn't going to explain to you how you know
I didn't appeal
that
to
any
anything.
fundamental. Okay, Leo. How do you know that any fundamental particulars are eternal?
Because they didn't begin to exist.
How do you know that?
Because we don't have a point at which they came into existence.
How do you know that?
What?
How do you know that, Leo?
How do I know what?
What you just said.
How do I know that something didn't have a point at which it began to exist?
Yeah.
How do you expect me to answer that question? I would
How
think
do you
that
know
would be
that,
something
Leo?
self-evident. How do we determine that something didn't begin?
Leo, how do you know that these particulars are eternal?
Because they did not begin to exist. Are you saying that if something didn't begin to exist, it could still be not eternal?
Leo, I'm waiting for an answer. I stay focused.
So do I.
Please do not.
I think probably more so than you.
You stay focused on being a deceptive little weasel.
Right.
That's right. Now, I stay focused on the question that I'm asking, the fair and circumspect question that you are doing mental gymnastics to avoid. Okay.
Sure,
now,
if you think so.
How do you know that any particulars that you believe in, how do you know that these particulars are eternal and without beginning?
So I don't know that they are, like I specified at the beginning.
Why do you believe it?
I believe that they are, because as far as we are capable of understanding about them, they
Don't
did
give me
not begin
we.
to
Don't
exist.
give me we. I don't want to listen to me carefully.
Why are you held up on that?
Like, I don't want to hear because I'll tell you why. Because I'll tell you why. It's because what you're doing is, okay, Leo, the reason why I don't want to hear we is because then you're going into your little community college lecture mode like you're talking to a bunch of fifth graders.
I'm actually giving you like university.
Leo, listen to me.
I wouldn't expect you to know the difference.
Leo, you're extremely arrogant and smug.
Right. Yeah.
Now,
totally.
Listen to me.
I'm so much better than everybody else.
Okay. No, you are monumentally arrogant and smug. I've listened to you a number of times on YouTube, but that's another issue. Okay. Now, Leo. Okay. Why do you believe that all of these fundamental particulars are eternal? Why do you believe that?
I gave you the answer, and you were more caught up in the fact that I used the
Okay.
word "we" like once
Leo,
than you were in my
why
answer.
do you believe that these particulars, whatever they are that you haven't seen, why do you believe that these unseen particulars are eternal?
Because they did not begin to exist as far as we
And
know.
how do you know? No. So you know this?
As far as we know, yes.
No, I don't. Listen, Leo, I don't want to hear we.
Then I don't know what to tell you.
I'm
Dad.
not talking to more than one person. Are you a multiple personality?
That's what you think I mean by we?
Okay.
He's attempting to
Leo,
distribute responsibility.
Leo,
Nope.
how do you know that any one or plurality of particulars that you say negates God, okay? How do you know that this plurality of particulars, okay, do you believe or do you know they're eternal, Leo?
Believe.
Okay, why do you believe? So you could be wrong about that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so then the point is, you are saying that God does not exist, but you could be
I
wrong.
am. Yeah.
Okay, so then the point is then if you could be wrong about it, then you don't know it.
Yes, I do.
So Leo, so do you have
I'm
a
actually joking,
rationale?
obviously,
Do you
I
have a
believe
reason?
that God does not exist.
Do you? I know you believe that, but I want to
Yeah,
know.
I
if
don't
you
claim
have
to
do
know
you have
it.
a reason? Do you have a reason that you can give to me right now? And I don't want to hear we. Do you have a reason to believe that one or more particulars are fundamental and absolute in and of themselves and are eternal? Do you have a reason for that?
Yes.
I'm waiting.
The reason is that as far as humans as a collective society have been
Okay,
capable
stop right
of
there. Did I not tell you not to see? All you've simply done
Wait,
is
do you
you've
think that I
replaced the
did these
word we.
experiments?
Leo, listen to me. You're a
This is
scumbag.
crazy.
Okay? Did I not say to you, I don't want to hear we? And what you did is instead of saying we, you said
I did not
humans.
use the word
I
we.
don't want to hear that, Leo. Leo, I want to know from you, not from humans, not from we. I want to know from you, Leo. I want to know, why do you believe that there are fundamental particulars that are independent of each other and that they are eternal and absolute within and of themselves that negate God? Why do you believe that, Leo?
Okay, because there is no data indicating that these particulars came into existence at any point.
Okay, the fact that you don't have data, it doesn't logically follow from that they are eternal.
Well, it's not deductive. It's,
That
it's
okay? When you
inductive.
say no, Leo, you just committed the logical fallacy of ad ignorantum.
No, I
You
didn't.
didn't appeal to because the data hasn't shown. Okay, see, this is just a glib phrase that you made. Oh well, the data hasn't shown it. What data are you referring to, Leo?
The whole of theoretical physics.
Okay, that's another non-answer, Leo.
No, it's not.
Has the data
Yes,
shown
it
that they
is.
are eternal?
No, it's not.
Leo, first of all, it's a balderdash response, okay? You say,
No.
well, the data hasn't shown it. It doesn't follow that because the data hasn't shown it, that therefore what are fundamental particulars are eternal. All you're just sitting there
I
giving
didn't
me
make
is
that
you're
statement.
giving me, listen to me, you're giving me a quasi-scientific statement with nomenclature, but it's non-substantive. Okay. When you say, well, the data hasn't shown otherwise, that's a non-answer, Leo.
Well, that's not exactly
That's
what
a
I said.
non-answer,
I mean,
Leo.
you just
Leo,
straightforwardly strawman
when you say the
what I
data
said.
doesn't show otherwise, that doesn't mean anything to me.
Well, to you it doesn't. You're correct.
Leo, it doesn't mean
obvi-
anything to me.
Okay,
Leo,
but it obviously means something to
okay,
me.
when you
so
say
it's
the
irrelevant
data
whether
doesn't
it means
show
something to
the
you.
data, okay, well, wait a minute. What data are you referring to?
I told you the whole
Let
of
me- hold on a
theoretical
second.
physics and everything we've
Listen to me.
understood through it.
Has the whole, here we go again, we. Hey,
Yep.
Leo, has anyone in the scientific community, anyone at all, individually or collectively, okay, examined anything that is fundamental and absolute and eternal?
as far as we understand, yes.
Is everything okay? Do
What
we need to
was
call
that?
911?
I'm sorry,
you
I have
choking, Leo?
Asperger's. Next time I'll try to be born without it.
Okay. Leo, yeah, well, you see, I think you were born as a congenital liar, Leo. Now,
I mean, sure, if
Leo,
you don't have a response to
Leo,
what I said,
you see,
go off.
when you don't have an answer, what you do is you appeal to these vague notions within physics.
When you don't
that
have
is
a response, you
unspecific.
claim I didn't answer.
No, Leo, you're such a damn liar.
Okay, then
A
contend with what I
pathological
said.
liar.
Then
Okay,
contend with what I said.
am Leo.
No, you're
now,
not.
Leo,
You're going on about how
listen
what I said was
carefully.
incoherent,
When
but
you
not
say,
contending with it.
this is your shtick. Okay, when you get
now we're going to
confronted.
talk about
Okay,
shticks.
hey Leo, don't
talk
overtalk
me
me.
about shticks.
Don't overtalk me, Leo.
Okay.
When you get confronted with real good questions, you just boulder dash with vague notions, generalizations that are non-specific to the world of physics. Now, explain to me, has any scientists, have they determined, okay, have they used a rational justification that, have they determined what the fundamental particulars are?
We don't know.
So, but you're telling me, do they believe what are fundamental particulars?
Well, I believe that quantum fields are fundamental particulars, but that
Okay,
hasn't
and okay, good. Now, good. So
outline
you believe that? Okay.
I
Now,
believe it, yes.
And
Other
do
physicists
you
do as well, but
do you have a reason to believe that quantum fields are what are eternal? Do you have a reason for that?
Yes, I do.
And don't give me an answer that's vague and generalized and non-specific. What is your specific, clear, non-vague reason that quantum fields are what is fundamental and eternal?
Because they seem to be, with how we measure them and the state of their existence, their degrees of freedom.
Okay, when you say it seems to be, that doesn't mean that's the case.
I've already conceded.
Hey, Leo, good. Then the point is,
why are you bringing it back up when I've already conceded
because all you're just simply saying is quantum fields seem to be. In other words, quantum fields is just a popular notion of what is fundamental.
No, not in my case anyway.
Good. Then what is your reason to believe that quantum fields are eternal? What's your reason for that?
Just their structure and what they are indicate that this is the fundamental aspect of reality. It just is.
Okay, Leo, what you just said was gobbledygook, Leo.
Well, to you, yes, I'm sure.
No, Leo, listen to me. I'm more than double your age. I'm an intelligent person. Okay,
I do think so. Yeah.
And I know when somebody is trying to verbally bamboozle me and be a wordsmith and machine gun talk, and that's precisely what you're doing, Leo.
Think so?
Okay, quantum fields. You said they seem to be eternal. Now, how did you arrive that it seems to be that they're eternal? How did you arrive at that?
Their structure and the way just the best way to put it is the structure of what a quantum field is.
How does that answer my question, Leo?
That's a really good question. I couldn't answer that. I'm not you. All I can do is answer it to the best of my ability.
It doesn't answer my question. It's a non-answer answer.
Well,
how do quantum fields
Darth, may I offer a piece of advice?
No, you may not offer me a piece of advice. I want an answer to my question. I want to know how it
help you get an
seems
answer
that quantum fields are eternal, Leo. Answer that.
I gave you the answer. The problem
is it was non-informative. Leo, yes. It was non-informative.
Are you going to let me finish?
I want to know, how is it that quantum fields are eternal, therefore nullifying God?
Because their structure seems to indicate it.
How does the structure indicate that quantum fields are eternal?
Because when we speak of space-time, when we're talking about quantum fields, it's in most instances practically meaningless. So
what you just said to me was
when you think of a quantum field, thinking of them as something in space-time
Leo,
may not be
Leo,
the
how
most
do you,
accurate
why do
way
you,
of understanding
why
what
do
these
you
things
believe
are.
they're eternal? Why do you believe quantum fields are eternal? And don't repeat what you said prior.
Well, I just gave you the answer, but you interrupted me halfway. So if you didn't get the answer,
No,
I'm sorry,
no,
but I'm not
you're a
giving it to
bullshit.
you
You're a
again.
bullshitter,
Well,
Leo.
Then ask another question, because I'm not giving you that answer
Maybe
again.
your bullshitting is related to
I'm
your
done
so-called
repeating the same
Asperger's.
answers. You keep
Good.
interrupting
Yeah,
when I
you're
give
not
them.
giving me. You're just giving me bullshit responses.
No, I'm not.
Leo.
You just don't understand them.
I
And
want to
instead
know.
of
Okay.
asking for clarification,
The appeal
you
to the
just-
genius.
you
The
just
genius here. Hey, Leo, listen
bloviate.
to me. I'm not bloviating. What I am
Yeah,
doing
you
is
are.
I'm grilling you, and you're
No,
trying to
you
boulder
are
dash your
not.
way.
Not
Don't
at all.
overtalk me, Leo. Now,
You mean like
Leo,
you've been doing this entire time?
what I'd like to know. Okay, would somebody mute that clown? No, actually ban whoever just did that. Right? Ban that user, whoever has mods in here. Now,
I
Leo,
didn't catch him. If I catch him again,
how does
zero.
how does the conceptualization that you or anyone else has, okay, how you think about quantum fields, how does it follow from that they're eternal?
I told you.
I'm waiting for an answer, Leo.
I gave it to you already. Perhaps you'd read
I'm
it
waiting
back
for
to
an
me,
answer.
so
I'm waiting for an
Yeah,
answer, Leo.
I gave it to you.
I'm waiting for an answer, Leo.
I literally already gave it to you.
I'm
You
waiting
interrupted
for an
it.
answer,
Yes.
Leo.
Okay, let me try one more time, but I'll probably get interrupted halfway.
See, this
through
is
anyway.
why. Listen to me.
Yep, there we go.
You know what? I've talked. Hold on. I'll let you speak in a second. I've talked with a lot of people in 10 years. Okay, and you have to be in the top 5 bullshitters that I've ever talked with. Okay.
Oh,
You
yes,
are a
in fact.
bullshitter. You are a bullshitter. Okay. Now, I want to know from you. Okay, how the forms, the conceptualization of how and what quantum fields are, how does that get you to, in fact, that they are eternal?
Well, it's not the conceptualization of them, it's what they are.
Leo, if you give me another dodge answer,
Well, I'm not going to let
remove
you
you.
straw man
I'm
what I
going to
said.
remove you. Listen to me. I've had it with your dodging here. Okay. Now,
Not
contrary to how it may, listen to me, contrary to how it may seem to you and others here and people listening on Tom Rabbit's channel, I have been monumentally patient, even though I have been displaying anger with you for your deceitfulness and your deviousness. If I was not patient, you would have been gone a long time ago.
I
We all
appreciate
know
that.
you're lying.
Okay,
You're
genuinely.
not
now.
tricking anyone.
Listen to me. You're not fooling anybody in the room. Okay. Now, I want to know is how you or anyone else conceptualize quantum fields. How does that indicate that they are necessarily eternal?
You're not properly representing what I said.
Okay, Leo.
I'm not speaking of.
Okay, I'm going to ask the question. Listen to me. Listen to me carefully. I'm going to ask the question one more time. Okay. You are well practiced at bullshitting and giving evasive answers while pretending to answer the question that you're not answering. You have a bright future as a press representative for members of the Democratic Party. Okay. Now, if you dodge my question again with gobbledygook, you're gone from the server. Okay. Now, the way that you conceive, okay, get out of here, you little piece of.
He wants that escape hatch. He wants to get out.
He was
What a lie. You see, what a lying piece of crap. And by the way, as I said, contrary to what people think, I was patient with him because he would have been gone long ago. What I don't like is when somebody is bullshitting me, boulder dashing me, okay, giving me gobbledygook answers that they know are just evasive because they don't know the answer to it. How do you know that quantum fields are eternal? Well, because of their structural formation and, well, really? This is why it is a waste of time talking with some of these people. Because if I didn't get irritated with him and confrontational with him about his boulder dashing and his deception and his deceitful, we'd be here for another 3 hours. Because he has no shame whatsoever about spewing gobbledygook.
And I know.
And then when you say it is gobbledygook, he says you just don't want to listen. You don't want to listen to my legitimate answer.
You just don't like the answer.
Yeah. And the thing is, and I know it wasn't like the optimal time to try to tell you this, because I didn't want you to consider it as dogpile, and I really wasn't trying to do so. But I was just trying to let you know he's trying to get under your skin. He's trying to BS. Because like Perry said,
I don't mind.
Yeah, but he wanted you to kick him from the first minute you started talking to him.
Right, and you know what? My ire I consider righteous indignation. I know that's not other people's style, but I am fed up with these pathological lying, devious boulderdashing and bullshitting atheists like that punk. And then he wants to pull out, oh, I have Asperger's. Like that's some excuse for his deception.
Hey, Dar, I'm gonna grant you that. I'm gonna grant you that.
Hey, Darth, I wasn't here when that conversation happened, but I disagree with your approach to conversations like this.
Yeah, if you weren't here for the conversation, then shut up.
No, but I've seen you talking to Paul.
I don't care.
And if she doesn't want to talk about it,
you weren't here for the conversation. He was pathologically lying through his teeth time and time and time again. He was being totally disingenuous. And then when I called him out on his disingenuous, then he tried to impugn me. Okay?
And you said that about other people.
Hey, Val, I have plenty of conversations where I do not get angry at all with my interlocutors because they're not being deceitful. You can ask any of the regulars in the room. Don't overtalk me. You can ask any of the regulars in the room of the dozens and dozens of conversations that I have. Oh, and he leaves. Good riddance.
Yeah.
By the way, did you get that, Tom Rabbit?